What's going on, guys? I hope you all have been doing well this afternoon. Just been wanting to cover Bitcoin with y'all. All right, I'm gonna get into the daily chart with you. Okay, so the daily is still looking bullish. Well, there are multiple bullish engulfing candles, which is phenomenal. Break out of this descending channel, usually very bullish. Now, doesn't mean that there could not be a pullback. There could be a pullback at some point. The 9 EMA is usually a common place to see kind of retracements. Currently on the daily, it's at 22.7 and change. So, I mean, although price has been pretty bullish. It's been hitting this resistance. There has been a rejection as of late, so I mean, it wouldn't be a surprise to see a potential move to the downside of maybe like 4.7% or maybe even like lower, but something to consider just to keep in mind in regards to that. Alrighty, so I'm going to go with the market cipher indicator here. So there was a sell signal, but I believe yesterday we did have a buy. Now what's kind of interesting here is we had a buy signal and the momentum wave is still heading to the upside, but ultimately, as you can see, money flow is pointing down and has created a lower low relative to the last local low um, here. So that's not all too hot. So from my perspective, I feel like we are kind of, consolidating and, continuing that exploration more towards the downside, in my opinion. As you can see here, there was a bounce off of the zero line, and we're still heading to the upside. Now, it has yet to be determined that this will actually create a higher high at this point, because the current high on the daily is at the 17 mark. The current is at literally 16.6, so it's cutting it very, very close. But yeah, something to keep in consideration. But ultimately, the way that this candle is looking at this time, it did kind of go halfway through it, as you can see. So that's usually an indication of maybe like consolidation to the downside, and then that's actually maybe that'll be the enough that'll be enough juice to actually break through this top side, but that's to be determined. I gotta see, at least an hourly candle close above 24.2 to be extra bullish, to where we can actually see the top side ranges of yeah, basically around like 28K roughly. But yeah, all right, so let me go with these indicators here. So the MACD crossed above the zero line and we're still getting that momentum to the upside, but as you can see in this last pumpage here, it was an ever so slightly lower high, and I'm kind of getting that inkling as well. Now this could still, pump to the upside and kind of garner that, but I am a little concerned that, although pumpage is to the upside, um, ultimately we might see a lower hill on the histogram. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Keeping my eye on that. But yeah, as it stands, the bars are green. Now, if you look at the TSI indicator, it says here, as long as price is above 22.66, we can expect price to continue to the upside. So now, just for visual perspective, I want to actually get that on here for you guys. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna go with yellow and make it a little bit, thicker so y'all can really see it. All right, so 22.6. All right, so it's 22.661 to be exact. Yeah, so as long as price is above basically this bullish engulfing candle right here above the zone of 22.5, yeah, we can expect prices to continue to the upside on the daily level. All right, so this is just a key level to keep in mind. Gonna shrink it down to size here. All right, so let me go with the MACDX here. Yeah, MACDX, same thing. The fast and slow moving averages are still pointing to the upside, so that's a good positive sign. Still creating on the RSI, still kind of creating this move to the upside at this time, so that's cool. Left the bearish control zone, back tested it as support, and we are still continuing the higher low scenario here, so that's good to see from a macro daily perspective. As far as this is concerned, I mean, I don't think we're over. I don't think we're overbought by no means. We haven't even touched the RSI. Um, there, I do got to keep in mind though that from the daily perspective, we are maintaining this like macro downward resistance. So that's to be uh, taken in consideration here. It'll look a little bit more visible as we kind of zoom more into maybe like the 4 hour and the 1 hour in regards to the resistances, but there is a macro resistance to take in consideration. So even though it looks good, doesn't necessarily mean that the RSI will actually tag the bullish control zone. But anyway, so from the TSI perspective, TSI is going green. Now, as you can see, we are kind of like losing a little bit of steam at this time, but it doesn't necessarily mean a reversal is going to happen. But I mean, it could also indicate maybe like we've kind of hit a local high and it's about time to maybe even come in and potentially create a higher low, or maybe even break and create a lower low from here. So yeah, the daily isn't my favorite in regards to overall toppy signals, if you will. So I like going more intraday with stuff like that. So let me start with, yeah, market cipher. Oof, oof. We have a confirmed bearish divergence here with a weak ass money flow. Hold on, let me go here. Yep. Oh my goodness, this is not good. If you're a bull, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I mean, there's just the apparent, market cipher has printed a bearish divergence, a red dot confirmation. Money flow also is looking pretty bearish. We're leaving the overbought territory and kind of coming down into more fairer prices. Let me go to regular candles, and as you can see, my support and resistance indicator, which is this yellow line here, has triggered a resistance line, so that's not too hot from my perspective. Now it doesn't mean that it's going to full-fledged reversal by no means, because there are times where there is oh, it's been a while, but it's been, well, actually it's been too long. There have been times where the resistance pops up and it just ultimately breaks, climbs higher. You see that resistance still breaks, right? But so just because it has that resistance line doesn't mean that it ultimately is the end all be all. But to me, this does indicate that we are in a phase where bears are gaining momentum and they are gaining confidence. In order for this bearish divergence to nullify, we have to break through 24.194 pretty soon, and really like close above. So that's a tall order. Doesn't mean that it can't happen, but right now momentum is waning at this time. And there is a definite resistance at 24.478. So if you can't see a 4-hour close above that line, then there's no point in opening longs. If anything, you should really be preparing for maybe a shorting opportunity, not financial advice, but we are closer to resistance than we are to support, so you just have to take that in consideration. Alrighty, let me go to the 4-hour here. Okay, so as you can see, the MACD is showing a little bit more of a clearer picture. We do have this waning momentum. We went from bullish to bearish in the past day. How many days has this been? It's like a day and a half. Yeah, so basically for the past day and a half, we've kind of lost momentum, and we're kind of nearing a potential sell. Let me go to the 2-hour. Yeah, the 2-hour we already had a sell signal. So 2 hours a precursor to the 4-hour. Anywho, all right. So, but the TSI, which I do respect, as long as price is above 23.811, you cannot be fully bearish. Now, here on the MACDX, we have a confirmed sell signal, but now keep in mind, we did have a string of fake outs here. So, this isn't a tell-all situation, right? This isn't like something to completely have onus, because as you can see on the RSI is in the bullish control zone still. Yes, we kind of have waning momentum, if you will. We still have like this resistance kind of line kind of forming on the 4-hour, but the slow moving average is now creeping into the bullish control zone. So this could be an immediate pop to the upside, okay? Now the TMA is actually showing something rather interesting. It actually is leaving the bullish control zone, and it's actually kind of peaking out. So that's rather interesting. Not gonna lie, usually when I see things like this, I'll kind of expect things like this to where like it'll consolidate, come back down, and then make a decision, either come back up or cross below this slow moving average blue line. So I don't want to call it that we're in consolidation too quickly, but from my perspective, I do see the potential movements to downside, given that there was a confirmed bearish divergence on the 4-hour, and 4 hours are highly respected in regards to just overall traders repertoire. But anywho, let me go to the 1-hour here, and the 1-hour intraday will really kind of make things a little bit more clear. I'm going to start with Heikinashi. So Heikinashi on the 1-hour is showing wicks to the top and to the bottom, right? So it's a key indecision. But what's kind of a telltale sign here is the exponential moving averages are getting closer to one another. Usually when there's space between the exponential moving averages, it leads to parabolic moves. As you can see, there, the more space there is, the more parabolic the action. The tighter the space, it leads to consolidation. So we're kind of heading to this inflection point where, yeah, the EMAs are tightening, and usually it just takes one hourly candle close below the 9 EMA to really start turning things around. And as you can see, price is getting more confident in breaking through the 9 EMA. So the 9 EMA is kind of like at a point where it's losing strength of support and now kind of flipping, or we're in the flippening perspective. But as you can see on the parabolic SAR indicator, which is these little dots here, as long as price is above 23.583, you have to be bullish. So that's interesting. But at the end of the day, as you can see, these dots right here, it was more vertical. It's just easy, like a pretty simple trajectory. Now, as you can see, the trajectory is kind of like flattening out, so that's kind of an indication for me in regards to overall losing strength. Basically there has to be a parabolic like God candle, bull candle like this, for example, to really turn the tide of what's happening at this time. But anywho, I'm going to go to the money flow indicator. So the money flow indicator is still thick in the green. Okay, so when you see money flow this thick, you can't discredit the bulls, right? Because look how insane. I haven't seen a blue hill this high in so long. Like, it's been so long since something was this high. Maybe back in March, but it still this one is way taller than that one. But anyway, this was beautiful to see. But at the end of the day, as you can see, there is a slope to the downside. Now, this could be just a slow drag, given that money flow is still green. So I don't expect it to be a parabolic move to the downside by no means. But as you can see on the waves as well, and the divergence really plays out, the slope of the overall hill is to the downside itself. So I do expect, even if there were to be a hill formed to the upside, I would see that line of resistance kind of continue itself from here on out. So that's why I'm not necessarily like, putting on my horns and, calling bull flags or anything like that. But anyway, yeah, let me go to the TSI at this point. So the TSI was overwhelmingly over bought, if you will, yesterday. And now we're kind of coming back to life here, or coming back to reality, I mean. So, yes, we are seeing some green. We are seeing some bulls trying to fight back here at this point. But the slow moving average is red. So I like to see these moments as basically shorting reset opportunities, not financial advice, but usually what I like to see is these things go green, and then once I see the next hourly candle close where it goes red, or not red, but the fast moving average goes from green to gray, that's when I feel more confident opening my shorts, especially if it's closer to the zero line, because usually the parabolic moves to the downside usually happen when the slow moving average and the fast moving average are crossing down on the zero line. So the big move has yet to happen is what I'm trying to say. So in regards to shorting, I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. You do whatever you want. But I myself, I'm more so looking for a short at this particular time. Okay. Whoops, what did I just do here? Okay, I just opened up some code. All right. All right. Pine script. It's good stuff. What's kind of interesting here on the MACD is that we are getting some waning bearish momentum, which is interesting. Um, but to keep this in mind, from the last um, time we had some bullish momentum, we did have a significant underperformance from the histograms here to the histograms here. So that, in my opinion, shows waning momentum. Also, the MACD crossed below the slow moving average, so that to me indicates more so bearishness macro, because it did kind of hang out here for a long time. So usually when that happens, we kind of get something like this where we have like, um, something similar like this where it comes down, the momentum is coming up, but it's kind of like floundering, and then it's like this particular sell signals where you really want to get in on the action and start, beginning in that short. So we're just not there yet. But conversely, what could happen is we do get momentum to the upside, and it kind of creates a lower high situation and stuff like that. So there's hundreds of ways this could turn, hundreds of ways that this could turn out. So it's not that simple. But from my perspective, uh, yeah, we're looking more so as a consolidation period. So we are getting some mixed signals here. So I'm going to go to a faster moving average. So yeah, we did get a buy signal on the 37, but let me go back to the 1 hour and look at the other tools, and we can then get a better assessment overall. So on the TSI is a little bit more clear cut here. So as long as price is below 23.98K, yeah, you can expect prices to continue to the downside. So what does that look like here on the 1 hour? Um, I'm going to go with blue, right? Okay, so it's 23,980. Okay, right there. Oh, it's so close. So close. Wow. Very, very close. Let me take off the Heikinashi candles here. Very close. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so as long as price is below there, uh, an hourly candle closes below there is bearish. That's real close. But at the end of the day, usually when price comes up all the way, let me just zoom in on the TSI. Usually when price goes all the way up, where price pushes the TSI over here, that does indicate uh, overall, bearishness. Now, it doesn't mean that there could be another divergence forming. So um, this thing could go on, right? You can create lower high, lower high, lower high, and then price is like creating higher high, higher high, higher high. When that happens, it just makes the divergences kind of compile, and it just makes the overall dump to the downside that much more powerful. So just because there is one bearish divergence doesn't mean that that's the end of it. You sometimes these things can compile, and really at the end of the day, the more divergences there have been accumulated, the more powerful the pop to the contrary side. So yeah, just something to consider. But yeah, from my perspective and from the divergence that was shown on the 4 hour, I do personally expect prices to continue to the downside myself. But yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit more zoned in on like intraday levels later on, and I'll kind of show you what's the dealio with that. But anyway, yeah, so like I said before, on the 1 hour we have two confirmed bearish divergences, but as you can see, um, I can just show you them right here. We had a bearish divergence here, but price continued to the upside. Here we have a bearish divergence here, and actually we are getting lower instances of price, so this one's getting respected. We did have a little hidden bullish divergence, but hidden bullish divergences are weak, so there's nothing to really write home about, frankly. Usually it's just a good indication. It's like, hey, you're going to get a better opportunity to get a better position at a short. So that's kind of like how I see it. Um, but yeah, so on the RSI, what's the deal with the RSI? So far on the 1 hour, this will become a little bit more apparent here. So if price cannot get above this resistance line, I can't be bullish. Like it's the same thing with the TSI. Maybe I could do this with the TSI later on, but if price is just like floundering and then it just breaks down, then yeah, uh, that's just a better indication of a sell. But contrarily, we could have a cross, right? And then a break and then just continuation. That would be really nice, frankly. If there was, if, whoops, if this resistance line does get broken, I would like to see price, or well, I'm sorry, RSI break, back test, and then that's when I'd be like, all right, let's go for a long here, and then see how that plays out. But as it stands, this resistance line is pretty obvious. I wouldn't touch any longs at this time until I see some confirmation breaks and all that kind of stuff. So it is a test of patience at this time. Oh yeah, the hourly is so overbought. It was, and a confirmed bearish divergence, and now we're heading to the downside regarding that. Um, yeah, so usually when that happens, like I said before, like this is a very good indicator of top signals. Let me show you exactly what I mean. This thing, um, well, yeah, not it's usually the 4 hour I like. Yeah. The 4 hours is actually usually a pretty good signal of tops here. Look, right here, had a local top. Here, yeah, actually had a hidden bullish divergence. And here, yeah, this one was a little more difficult. but some of these are usually more clear than not. But yeah, so this tool I usually like to use it as for like topping indicators from like the daily perspective, the 4 hour. The lower you go, like on the 15-minute, the 30-minute, the hourly even, like it gets a little bit more difficult and a little more accurate. You know, this is crypto. It's super volatile. But yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit more closer in today and show you kind of like my um more zoned in type of stuff. I like to use the Fibonacci 37-minute time frame, which is a precursor of the 1 hour, to really kind of get nice entries to kind of front run the hourly traders. But as you can see, down here on the MACD, I don't really talk about it often, but like it does match up with the money flow. So the money flow and this bar down here are pretty, parallel with each other. But yeah, so we're still thick in the green. It's just easier for bulls to push price up. Right now, momentum is up, so that's interesting. Now, keep in mind though that the money not the money flows, I'm sorry, the momentum waves are printing kind of like this bull shape as well. We're waning momentum, so it's just tough to be bullish right now. I'm actually looking for better short positions at this time myself. Okay. Also, what's interesting here, I'm going to move everything here. I'm just going to pay attention to these bars. This is a volume indicator. Volume is so freaking low. Usually when volume goes this low, it just means that a reaction is going to happen very soon where we're going to see like these big red bars or like these thick green bars. Usually when you see waning volume like that, it's just kind of like the precursor to a big move. Just at this time, it hasn't necessarily been decided. Um, yeah, would you look at that? It's testing it at 23.98. Very close. Also in line with this resistance line here, my support resistance indicator, which is currently acting as resistance. All right. So, ooh, interesting. Yeah, we are getting a similar instance right there. Yeah, so we do have this this resistance line here on the TSI on the 37-minute. You see, it did create a lower low. So we are getting a reaction here. We're kind of seeing the beginning of this reaction here. So we have established lower highs and lower lows here. So that is exactly why I'm looking for that next lower high, and then I'll kind of make a reaction. But now that could be hours away. This is, like I said in the past, um, a big test of patience. Okay, you'll see like this like big bull candle, and it'll just like flash for it'll be up there for like 5 minutes, and it'll come back down, and then like an hour later it'll come back up or whatever. So it's just very choppy at this time, as you can see. I mean, look how choppy it's been for the past, what, couple hours? Yeah, it's been a day and 5 hours basically, where it's just been up and down, up and down, up and down, choppy, chop, 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 chop. This is where people get wrecked, okay? Because like it's like, oh, it's for sure going up. Oh, it's for sure going down. All in, and they go home crying. But yeah. Anyway, all right, let's go to the 37-minute time frame on the TMA here. Oh yeah, TMA. Wow, that's actually pretty telling. Currently, the TMA is below the slow moving average. That's bearish. It's trying to fight to come back up, but it's already tested it twice. So to me, this is an indication of continuation to the downside. There is this little semblance of like higher lows, but usually when you touch the top up here of the TMA, it usually then is more likely to come down and then test these lower regions down here. So this just further, in my opinion, validates an eventual move to the downside at this time, just for more consolidation. It doesn't mean that it's like over, like this run is over. It's just that, like, you know, it did a pretty impressive pump overall um, after this channel break, which is great. Um, but it's pretty sharp to the upside. Um, wouldn't mind seeing some consolidation. So we're at the precipice of um, really a pretty big decision here. I'm thinking, oh, you know what I'm kind of seeing now? I'm kind of seeing a diamond. Oh, hold on. Would that make? Oh, that does make sense. You could argue that this is a diamond pattern, actually. Well, actually, no, not really, because the diamond you need a thick middle, which we don't have here. Maybe a head and shoulders, possibly. Maybe. But at the end of the day, what would really make this bearish is an hourly candle close right here. That would be pretty bearish if price broke below here at 23.5. That would at least move price yeah, confirmed breakdown near the 100 EMA at 22.9, which would be a 2.2 move. It's not bad. But as you can see on the hourly, we have confirmed lower highs at this time. Even from a candle close perspective, we do have a high, lower high, so we do kind of have that like very subtle resistance to the downside at this time. But yeah, this resistance right here just goes to show the truth of like technical analysis, if you will. There's just crazy levels that traders keep their eyes on, and they could literally pivot price once they are nearby. But anywho, yeah, I'm kind of ranting at this time. I'm gonna leave it here. But overall consensus, what's pretty telling to me is the 4 hour. The 4 hour in particular. Okay, from a daily perspective, as long as price is above 22.6, you can't be bearish. Okay, you can't be bearish on the daily. So theoretically speaking, price could come all the way down 5.2% on Bitcoin. Keep in mind, Bitcoin, all right, not the altcoins. Altcoins could, if Bitcoin dumps 5%, altcoins are dumping like 10, 15, 20%. But anyway, yeah, so from the daily perspective, price could dump 5% and still be bullish. But on the 4 hour, which I'm more concerned about on the 4 hour, especially on the TSI, we are seeing a continuation of downside momentum. So that's rather interesting, and it ever so touched the top side of the overbought region and it just went back down. So, I mean, this could flip up and really cross and make it more definitive, but yeah, this doesn't look too hot to me. Also, the confirmed bearish divergence with a waning money flow, that's not looking too good either. Um, Let me go to the 2 hour. Yeah, well, the 2 hour is kind of curving. Let me go to the 37 minute. 37 minute, yeah, 37 minutes still curling to the upside. But yeah, oh, well, we'll see, but I would have to see at least the money flow kind of create a new high to invalidate um, that move, but it's just pretty, it's just like hard to ignore this curvature to the downside. And being at a key resistance point right there. Yeah, so right now I'm leaning pretty bearish, not gonna lie. Um, we did create a high, well, actually on the hourly, actually no, on the hourly we created a lower high. We got a wick high, but we got a candle close lower high. Now on the 4 hour, um, yeah, 4 hours, same thing. From this past local high to this, if it is a local high, it would be a lower high. So that's not good at all. Um, that's not good at all. That could potentially trigger a move break to even below the supply line if that's the case. But I don't want to get too far ahead right now. I want to keep my eye on the really where I'd be bullish is an hourly above 24.194. Basically this red line right here. Um, maybe even at worst, like an hourly above 24 flat, but right now it's just getting flat rejected. Um, who knows? But this is acting right here. This is also a key level here, 23.88. So that's interesting. It's trying to act as support, but I mean, this is a more key level, frankly, at 24.194. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my guns here, and if I had a gun to my head, and if I had to choose a direction, I'm thinking this is coming more down, and yeah, it's just gonna reset eventually. Given what's today, Thursday? Oh, today's Friday. My bad. I thought today was Thursday. Um, yeah, given that today is Friday, weekend is coming. Yeah, I think this is a move to the downside later on, but we'll see. We'll see. Where I'm pretty confident in bearishness is a hourly candle close below 23.516. But yeah. All right, well, I'm going to leave it at that. I've been ranting enough, and yeah, I appreciate you watching the video. If you haven't liked this video, give it a like, and yeah, let me know what you think about the TA. I would love to know your comments, your perspective, your opinion. Where do you think this is going to go? Are we going to break through 24.194 finally, or are we going to go retest the bottom side? And maybe, kind of freak out the bulls and test 22.6 again. It would be great to hear from your perspective. I actually want to get some consensus on that. But anywho, take care, have a great one, and peace out. Bye.